Last night, something historic happened at Villa Park in Birmingham, something that transcended music and became a collective experience of emotion, power, nostalgia, and unity. The farewell concert of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath brought together thousands upon thousands of fans from across the globe, all gathered to witness what will forever be remembered as one of the most monumental nights in rock and metal history. It wasn't just a concert. It was the closing of a chapter that shaped the lives of millions, and for many, the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. From the early hours of the day, Birmingham was alive in a way it hadn't been for decades. The streets were packed with fans of all ages, from those who had been there since the very first Sabbath album to younger generations who had discovered the band through their parents, older siblings, or simply through the undying power of music that never fades. The pubs around Villa Park were overflowing. Every street corner buzzed with excitement. People shared stories, sang classics, wore shirts that spanned 50 years of metal history. This wasn't just about a single band. It was about a movement, a lifestyle, and an attitude that has shaped music for half a century. As the gates to Villa Park opened, the energy in the air was overwhelming. The stadium filled with a sea of black t-shirts, leather jackets, and faces brimming with anticipation. This was not just the farewell of a band, it was the end of an era. The production was grand, the sound check powerful, and the visual displays around the venue showcased highlights from the careers of both Ozzy and Black Sabbath. Fans could feel the weight of the night before a single note was played. The evening kicked off with a lineup that could only be described as legendary. Each band that took the stage did so not only to perform their own music, but to pay heartfelt tribute to the gods of metal who had inspired them all. Pantera, Alice in Chains, Tool, Metallica, and several others delivered sublime performances that electrified the audience. Every artist left their soul on that stage, showing respect, admiration, and gratitude for the immense legacy of Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. The sound was massive, the emotion raw, and the crowd responded with energy and appreciation that rarely comes around more than once in a lifetime. And then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. The lights dimmed. A low rumble vibrated through the stadium. The screen showed flickering images from Ozzy's past, the earliest performances, wild antics, quiet interviews, and epic shows. The tension was unbearable, the cheers deafening. And then, from beneath the stage, a platform began to rise. Seated atop an enormous, Gothic-inspired throne, dressed in dark regal robes, was Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness himself. The crowd exploded. It was a moment straight out of fantasy, larger than life, yet somehow completely real. Ozzy, seated with undeniable presence, raised his arms, his face lit by stage fire, and with a wicked grin, he made it clear he wasn't done yet. The throne glided forward as pyrotechnics burst into the sky. The sheer magnitude of the moment stunned the entire stadium. When the music began, Ozzy's voice rang out across the venue, and it was glorious. Whatever doubts people had about his health or vocal strength were silenced instantly. He proved to everyone that the fire still burned inside him. Song after song, he commanded the stage. Bark at the Moon, Mr. Crowley, Crazy Train, each delivered with power, backed by a band that was as sharp and fierce as ever. The crowd responded with unrelenting energy, singing along to every lyric, roaring with every guitar riff, waving banners and flags as tears streamed down faces. Ozzy took brief pauses between songs to speak to the audience, his voice filled with genuine emotion. He thanked the fans for the decades of support, for the memories, and for making him feel alive one last time. His words were not rehearsed, they came from the heart. Every face in the audience reflected the same bittersweet joy. This was the final time, but it was everything they had hoped for. As the set drew to a close, something deeply emotional unfolded. The massive screens lit up with an unexpected tribute, an image honoring the memory of Diogo Jota, the Liverpool footballer who had tragically passed away days earlier, along with his brother Andre Silva. The tribute caught the crowd by surprise, and the entire stadium fell into a respectful silence as the image shone brightly. It was a deeply human moment amidst the grandeur, a reminder of life's fragility, of the bonds that unite people through grief, through celebration, and through music. The crowd applauded, many visibly moved, and then the anticipation built once again. The moment everyone had been waiting for, the reunion of Black Sabbath. The lights dimmed one more time. A soft chant began, slowly growing louder until the entire stadium roared with one voice, "Sabbath! Sabbath! Sabbath!" The darkness broke with a single ominous guitar note, and then they appeared. Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, Bill Ward, and Ozzy Osbourne, the original architects of metal, side by side for one last time. The eruption from the audience was beyond words. This was it, the final dance. Black Sabbath took the stage for what would become an unforgettable final set, performing 4 of their most iconic songs. They opened with the thunderous War Pigs, the crowd singing every line with explosive energy. Geezer's bass roared through the stadium, while Iommi's guitar delivered the crushing riffs that defined the genre. Bill Ward, back behind the drums, pounded each beat with intensity, and Ozzy, still the showman, delivered his vocals with strength and heart. Without missing a beat, they moved into NIB, the classic bass-driven anthem that sent shivers down spines. The atmosphere was electric, the sound immense. Then came Iron Man, one of the most recognizable guitar riffs in music history. The crowd's reaction was pure euphoria, with voices raised to the heavens in unison. And finally, as the night neared its end, the unmistakable chords of Paranoid rang out across Villa Park. The audience, already overwhelmed with emotion, gave everything they had left, singing, shouting, clapping, crying. The band delivered each note flawlessly, their chemistry intact, their passion undiminished. As the final chords faded, the members of Black Sabbath stood together at the front of the stage, arms raised, faces lit by the fireworks above and the sea of lights from the crowd below. There were no grand speeches, just the music, the memory, and the unspoken bond between artist and audience that will never be forgotten. The night closed not with sadness, but with gratitude. Fans poured into the streets of Birmingham, still singing, still buzzing with adrenaline, still holding on to the magic they had just experienced. The music may fade, the lights may go out, but what happened that night will live on in the hearts of everyone who was there.